It is Saturday morning. I don't know why I like to torture myself because, the kids are going to be here. It's no school. But I only went to the bins one day this week by myself because Vikki got all that stuff in Colorado, so she doesn't need to go to the bins for a while. And it's a little harder to get going in the morning and not just want to stay home and focus on other work. And so I got to go today because I only have one other bag of stuff that I got earlier this week. There'll be another haul video that will show that stuff. But I don't know what I'm doing. But I need to get some stuff. And who knows, maybe today I'm going to find something amazing and I'm going to be glad I came in on a Saturday to hang out with all the kids. But let's see. Let's see what I can get. We'll see. And then Vikki's just going to show some of the stuff that she got in Colorado. That's where we're going to do the hauls from now on for a little while. It'll be my stuff from the bins, her stuff from Colorado. And she got some cool shit. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just got out of there. It's almost 11 o'clock. I got 13 pounds of mostly mediocre stuff, but okay. Still worth the visit. I prefer not be on a Saturday. And then, so as I was going into the store, saw one of the Utes, getting dropped off by a parent, living the good life, getting dropped off at the bins. And at one point, I was going into one of the side bins that I like to go into. And I just started looking in there maybe for like 15 seconds. Same kid comes up next to me, digs around, somehow uncovers an entire garbage bag, rips it open, and proceeds to pull out like 5 or 6 all over print Ed Hardy t-shirts. And I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Are you freaking kidding me? Again with the Ed Hardy. But it was hilarious because all the other kids that were there were like losing their freaking minds. Like, oh my God, bro, he just pulled out a whole bag of Ed Hardy. And they're like, what? And they're all like, seriously, freaking out, which only tells me even more so that Ed Hardy is hot stuff right now. I was a little jealous though, and I don't know how I feel being jealous of children, but it is what it is. But I did find a couple of things that were actually really good. One piece that Victoria's definitely going to be jealous of, so... And that's kind of my goal these days, is to make her jealous. So, all right, I'm gonna head home. All right, I'm back home, you guys. I'm back home. And again, it's Saturday. What have you been doing with your time while I was out?
Taking pictures, listing. I got like 15 new items listed from scratch. Took pictures of like 20 items so far, and I've got a couple more hours of photos to take. And then I got to put away a lot. I got to put away like 200 plus items that I've listed in the last week and a half or 2 weeks that I haven't put away. So
she's making me help.
Yeah.
I'm going to help. I'll help. It'll go a lot faster that way. So I'm going to show like 10 pieces that I got today, and Vikki hasn't even seen any of them. These are all going to be a surprise to her. And then you pulled like 10 items from your Colorado trip. Mm-hmm. And then we're actually going to film another one that will come out later. I'm going to put this out today.
But, right. So if we look exactly the same, it's going to have different content, but
we just like to wear the same outfits every day.
That's and have the hair look, well, your hair always looks the same, but I mean,
I got it cut. Okay.
Me too. Fresh cut and color.
Yeah. Fresh cut
for
and
eBay
not color. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you start? What's the first thing you got to show us?
So I haven't even unpacked all of my stuff from Colorado. There's a lot of it. So I actually unpacked probably 200 pounds of it so that I could get a lot of it laundered. Most of the linens and things like that I've unpacked and got them laundered and starting to list those. But the clothing I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Otherwise, it's way too overwhelming to have everything taken out right away and have it taken up space. So I just keep it in totes so that I can hide it until I'm ready for it. Anyway, so this is one of the items that I picked up. This was a bins find in Colorado. The brand, it's made in West Germany.
Ooh.
And the brand is Hooper. So just look at that old tag. It is a vintage 70s little double knit polyester. That's what they call this. That kind of thicker, almost stretchy polyester. You see it in a lot of like leisure suits, pantsuits, that kind of thing. So this is a women's, it's kind of fitted a little, it's almost like a blazer jacket shirt. Like
It's awesome.
You could wear it by itself because you don't really need to put anything under it the way that it buttons. But I guess you could wear it as a blazer. It's very lightweight. It's not lined. It has this great pattern, these big, huge gold buttons. I don't know. It's kind of fun. It weighs less than a pound, so I probably paid like $1.50 for it. And I think I'll list it for about $75.
And it had some staining, but you just threw that right in the
It did.
wash.
I threw it right in the wash. I just stain treated it with a little spray, scrubbed it in. One thing I have to say about both nylon and polyester, if it's 100% of either one of those, almost every stain is going to come out. It's all machine washable. Grind it into the fibers and the fabrics, put a little stain stuff in it. We use LA Awesome, which is found right at the dollar store.
Awesome.
Totally awesome. Found at the dollar store, and it works every time. So don't be afraid to pick up stained items if they are made of a certain content. That's biggest key, I guess.
Yes. All right. Your haul's going to be so much better than mine because you got the creme de la creme to choose from. But I think I got some good filler stuff today. So this is a vintage sweater. It's probably 80s at least. It's not going to be later than 80s. You can barely see the tag, but it says the size is large 42, 44, and it's acrylic. So this is probably 80s. V-neck sweater, and it says Lake Tahoe Polo Club.
Ooh,
Look
fancy.
at that.
Lake Tahoe has a polo club.
Super fancy. Or they did in the 80s. Anyway, it's in pretty good condition, so I feel pretty confident I can probably sell this for like $50.
See, I was going to say 50.
Oh, look at you.
I would have priced it the same. So this isn't anything super exciting. I just wanted to say that this is Indian motorcycle mechanics shirt. So this is the back. Very Y2K. I can't really tell by the tag, but it's not super vintage. It may even be somewhat current. But this style is a very Y2K style. So when you find mechanic shirts, whether they're motorcycle or a band or a club or whatever, Harley, Indian, any of those, pick them up because people like these. Big dudes like these even more than they like Hawaiian shirts. So this was a bins find. I'll probably list it for $40 or $50. I haven't looked it up yet. It might be worth more, but that would be the minimum I'm going to list it at.
All right, cool. Next up, I've been picking up Hawaiian stuff. Hawaiian shirts sell, man. So I just sold today for $30 a Tommy Bahama, not vintage, Tommy Bahama shirt I got at the bins just a few days ago, or just like last week. That's a solid color. It doesn't even have a pattern on it. It's just cotton, purple. Sold it for $30.
It wasn't even a silk one?
No. And so, I mean, I know I saw something on Facebook where somebody was razzing Casey about like oversaturated categories, and they said something about Tommy Bahama, blah blah blah, and I'm like thinking I've sold like 4 Tommy Bahamas now in like the last month. Every one I pick up at the bins I sell pretty quickly, and, for like $30, which is
they're not a huge moneymaker anymore, but
if you're paying $1 and it sells right away, why not? Anyway, so this is actually made for Gordon Biersch. It's like a brewery.
It's the brewery that we went to for the Trash for Cash peep.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
It's a brewery chain.
And this is made in the USA. But I think I don't know how long they've been around, but it's got the thing embroidered on there, and it's got a little
It's probably an
beer.
employee shirt.
Yeah, probably. But it's pretty cool. It's a nice big cotton Hawaiian shirt. And
it has the little wahine and the islands on it, so that's cool.
Yeah, so I didn't look it up or anything because again, it's like I'm paying $1, so and minimum I should be able to sell it for $30, if not more, because of what it is. So, yeah, who knows?
I would price that one even higher.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so this is also a bins find. Not super exciting, but for whatever reason, the whole boho festival. Anything that has fringe and suede is super popular and has been for the last couple of years. So that's why I picked this up. And it kind of always was if you're going with vintage. So this is just a vintage black suede vest with the fringe. It's probably circa 70s, late 70s. There are no tags, but it does have the little threads coming down from the shoulder, fringy. And then it's got, you can tie the front if you wanted to. And it's almost a crop look. So this actually, I mean, this is women's. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's pretty unisex as far as if you're going with a vintage look, men would wear this as well over like a dagger collar type dress shirt and maybe some, you know, bell-bottom Levi's or whatever. But the shorter crop ones with the long fringe, girls are wearing these over like a bralette or a band tee and some cut-off shorts and some cowboy boots. Anyway, it's just a very popular look, and it's there's a lot of different ways that you can stylize it. So all that being said, I paid probably $2 to $3 for it based on weight, and I'll probably sell it for $60 to $75.
Very nice, very nice. All right, next up is this awesome cardigan. It needs to be depilled. It has no tag in it, so but I had to get it because to me it just screams Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell, something that he would have worn. It's a really awesome purple color.
Purple and like heathered gray. Oh yeah, it's very Zach Morris-y.
And I feel like, I mean, it doesn't have a tag, but I would say this is probably like 90s, don't you think?
Yeah, I would say 90s. It was probably like Structure or something like that.
But it is awesome.
No tag inside either.
No tag that I could see anywhere. But it looks great. It just needs to be depilled, and it's an awesome
it's like
pattern.
A wool blend.
And somebody can, very Zach Morris, very Empire Records. I think it's, I love it. So, I mean, $50 maybe.
It's a look.
It's a look, man.
It's an L-E-U-K look.
There you go.
Jeez. Okay, speaking of sweaters, I've got a couple of cool sweaters. This is one of them. I'm actually going to show two because I think they're by the same brand, so I'll sell them. This is just REI, which is the outdoors company. They sell a lot of like outdoor hiking and camping equipment and things like that, but they do sell some clothing, and it's actually geared towards colder weather climate for the most part. But this is a very 90s as well, wool V-neck sweater vest. Look at this pattern, right?
I love it.
It's super fun. It's a size medium. And yeah, I mean, it's even got the like little pewter buttons and stuff. I mean, I'll probably list this for like $50.
I love the REI stuff. I just sold an REI jacket, vintage jacket I found at the bins for $140.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Holy crap. This is also REI, and that's the only reason I'm going to show them together. So they probably were donated by the same person, but these are also bins finds. This is a really, really nice cardigan. Look at that with the pheasant on it.
I don't remember seeing this.
The pheasant, it has some shoulder pads. I would say this is 80s, 90s as well. Hand knit, really cool graphic. It's not equestrian, which, look at that, the squirrel.
Look at the little squirrels.
You know, it's not like equestrian, which tends to go for more, but it's a really nice sweater.
Why didn't you let Kristen get that?
I don't think Kristen was with me when I found it.
So you're saying you
Sorry, Kristen.
bought a squirrel cardigan and you took it out of the state and didn't let Kristen have it.
That's true. It's true. I think I found it after I hung out with her. But yeah, I think I'm going to list that one for like $75. It's just got really cool colors and graphics.
So rude, Kristen. If you watch this, I apologize. I was not made aware. I would have told her to let you get it. Okay, so next up, this isn't vintage, but you know, you've been following me on my tote bag journey. Am I picking up the tote bags?
Actual tote bag journey?
Yeah, I'm picking up the totes. I think I've sold like 3 or 4 of them now.
You're totally
from the bins.
into the totes.
I'm totes into the totes. Oh my goats. Okay. But this is I saw it like all kind of folded up, and I was like, oh, it looks like it might be a cool pattern. You can see it's a turtle. But for those environmentally conscious people,
save the turtle.
It says use a tote, save a turtle. And it's just a really nice color. It hasn't been used at all.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy, use a tote, save a turtle. I don't know.
That's just inappropriate. Like
it's a song.
Yeah, and it's inappropriate. Okay? Don't be dragging turtles into your dirty, dirty mind. All right. Anyway, I love it. I can probably sell it for $30. What are you looking at?
That's ridiculous.
You're sick. All right.
Okay, so this one I did pay $4.99 for. This was not a bins find. I'm going to get this one photographed and listed real quick.
I love it.
The Halloween and Christmas, like ugly Halloween sweaters are a thing, right? And I don't even think this one's ugly, to be honest with you. I think it's cool. Not my style, but it's pretty cool. So it's a cardigan sweater, Halloween, vintage, 90s. They call them novelty sweaters. I would definitely put the word novelty in the title. And this is actually 80s, made in Hong Kong. It's just cool. I don't know.
He's a little shaving going on.
Trick or treat? Yeah, I probably won't do that. Let's be real.
You could literally do it by hand. You're not going to take that crap off?
I might. Whatever. Anyway, I'll list this for like 75. If I get like 50 to 60 for it, I'm fine.
All right, this next one, so Chaps, as we've talked about before, used to be part of Ralph Lauren, and then it split off and it was sold to another company or whatever, however all that works.
And then they sell it at Kohl's now.
Yeah, and so now anything like modern Chaps isn't really worth getting. I mean, unless it's like, I have seen some where it's like got some really big graphic.
Yeah.
But otherwise, don't bother with it. But when you do find vintage, I'm always going to pick it up. And this is really interesting because it's a dress shirt, but it has a denim collar. But the rest of the shirt is white.
Well, the rest
so
of the shirt
canvasy.
is also kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of canvasy, but it's just a white shirt.
Heavy chamois.
And it's got, but it's got like this nice denim collar. It's pretty fantastic. And then it's got the chaps. I keep saying chaps.
The chaps?
Chaps.
Are you fancy?
Well, chaps is, I think
Chaps
that's how.
like champagne.
Excuse me to all of my horsey people out there. If you're a horsey person, is it not true? Maybe I'm crazy. But what the pants that you put on, the cowboys put on, isn't it pronounced chaps and not chaps? And so in my mind, I go to that. Anyway, but you can see my horsey people don't.
Your horsey people in the United States.
Are you a horsey person?
No.
Okay.
But I am a biker person. And it's the same thing. Same kind of thing.
Okay. Maybe they don't know. In the chat, please tell me if you call it chaps.
In the chat. Dork.
Anyway, and this is one of the things I love, and I know Vikki feels the same way. When you pick up something like this, and then you realize it's got the dry cleaner tag on it, and so you know it's nicely cleaned and pressed, and
unless it has bins schmutz on it.
It doesn't. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. But I'll probably list this. I'll probably list this for 70 and hope to get 50. But then if it sits around forever, I'll take 40. So that's kind of how I go.
But if it sits around forever.
Yeah.
All right. So this was also Bin's find. I don't know if this brand is anything. Probably not. Made in France. The brand is Joinyville, like Joinyville. But it's this big, oversized, soft fleece in bright green and pink and purple. It's almost like it's got like that snap cinchilla type thing. If it were Patagonia, they call it cinchilla snap. I don't know. It's pretty cool. What does it say? It's got something like embossed on it. It's
I feel like this is one of those things where it was created by people who didn't speak English, and so it just doesn't really quite make sense. It says authentic. Well, it says more men have use it. So this is authentic Joinyville sport, sign of a good time, made of the best materials. But it says more men have use it.
Sign of a good time. I think it goes this way. I don't know. It's like when you're trying to read stuff that his initials, monogrammed, and you can hardly ever tell which letter is supposed to be the last name, which one's not.
Well, it's
anyway.
kind of like when dudes go and get tattoos of like Asian characters, they really don't know what it actually says. It's the same thing with when they make T-shirts in English, except it's like
it's terrible.
They don't know what they're actually saying.
Big. This is really oversized. I would say this is a men's extra large now, which means like that whole oversized. Like this is 80s, right? All day long 80s. I don't know what I'm gonna list it for. Probably 60, 75 bucks. It's really soft, cozy. I mean, if it looks like it's absolutely worthless, I may even keep it. It's super soft inside and out. I just really like it.
I mean, more men have used it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to wear that.
More men have used it.
All right, next up, I got this out of one of the reject piles. People throw, they look at stuff and then they reject it. And I could tell it was vintage. I saw the single stitch. The collar is cut. And I'm a little bummed that it has this, this really crappy, whatever they call this, where it's like it says PBRR. But the back is awesome enough to make up for it. And it is Pahrump Valley Rough Riders. Look at that, cowboys.
It's cool.
Speaking of my horsey people, what do you think of that?
Really?
Yep, that's how they sound. Anyway, just it's rodeo shirt, so I'll still be able to sell it for like 40. Get on in there.
All right.
Ooh, I like
it. This is vintage Woolrich. What I like about Woolrich is that it tells you if it's men's or women's. This is pretty unisex, but made in the USA Woolrich, which is older. Woolrich also doesn't make anything in the USA, and in fact, Woolrich doesn't even make clothing anymore. I think they stopped a couple of years ago. I don't know how long ago, but in any case, this is vintage, just oversized, like Sherpa hooded fleece pullover.
I like it.
It's got a cool pattern, right? It's got it has horses and snow.
It's got
and
stuff going on, man.
Yeah, it's gray, but if you look up close, it's like this. It's gray and black and super thick. Anyway, very cozy. I don't know what list this at either, but my guess, and it has pockets, by the way. It's like, so it's definitely a jacket.
Deep pile.
Deep pile, that's the right word. And then it even has like a little pull string inside, so you can, because it is women's, you can accentuate the waist if you'd rather have a waistline on it.
Very nice.
But anyway, I don't know, like $75 or so. Was a bin's fine, so I probably paid $3 to $4 because it is a couple pounds.
Oh.
I just thought it was cool.
All right, I almost didn't get this one, and then I looked it up, and not that it sells for $1 bazillion, but speaking of Hawaiian shirts again, this is John Severson collection by Kahala, Maine, Hawaii. But they actually get good prices. They get better than Tommy Bahama, like as far as just regular Tommy Bahama, but this is vintage. And it's not anything like crazy exciting. It
has cocktails.
Yeah, it's got cocktails, but it also has golf clubs, and so it's got some cool stuff. It's got some interesting things going on.
I don't know what kind of pattern that is.
I don't know, but
it's weird.
Apparently, you're drinking cocktails and
hitting
some golf balls.
Hitting the golf balls at the same time.
Yep.
I don't know how that works, but sure.
And so from looking it up, I saw, I can actually sell this for like $40-50, so I should definitely get it because I'm paying $1. So I don't know, man. I'm apparently
into the Hawaiian shirt business right now.
I am. I mean, I used to do a lot of Hawaiian shirts, but now I'm getting back into it. Because
I always pick them up. I almost always, if it's a good pattern and a good size, obviously good brand works. But even with crappy brand like Puritan or whatever, which you find a dime a dozen, if it has a really great pattern, I'll still.
It really doesn't matter. And also it's like I'm not having to really compete a whole lot with the t-shirt bros.
Yeah, they don't want
to grab these. So.
All right, so I have just 3 more. Do you have any left?
Yeah, I have 2 more.
Okay. So this was a fun find. This one I actually paid $12.99 for off the rack.
Very fancy.
But you know I like bathrobes. I always talk about bathrobes and sleepwear. This is a very, very nice vintage embroidered, quilted. I'm going to get closer so you can see the fabric. It's embroidered here, but it's quilted. And it is like an off-white with like gold threading. It has the belt, which is great.
Nice.
And then it has these little flowers and stuff embroidered on the pockets. This is very 1950s to me.
I mean,
it may be as late as the 60s, but definitely 50s. And it feels new. It's so crispy and clean. There's no wear or anything on it. I like it.
I am going to say, though, in the words of my grandmother, Donna Stapleton,
it's a bit much.
It's a bit much. Like,
but yeah,
who's walking around wearing that?
It has, I mean, it's a whole like robe dressing gown.
Tag from,
no.
It was, you bought it at
I bought it at ARC. I paid $12.99. I did not get this from the bins, but.
Well worth $12.99. I mean,
I think I'll probably list this for like $129, $125, and I'll take anything over like $85 on it.
Very nice, very nice. All right, next up. I wasn't having huge luck with the vintage t-shirts today, but I did grab one that I think it was another one that was in the reject pile. Tag is cut, but it's got that nice thick collar. It is double stitched, but I would say this is 90s, early 2000s. And it says, I don't know if it's Leadville, Silver Rush, mountain bike race. I love my mountain bike race stuff, but it's cool because it's like an old timey photograph and then they put like mountain bikes in it.
It's got a sleeve hit too. What does the sleeve hit have?
Oh, look at her talking about sleeve hits. It just says Peoples, Colorado. So, but just a cool mountain biking t-shirt. Nothing crazy, but hopefully I can get like at least 50 for it. I like it. Next.
And in keeping with the season, I did pick this costume up. Last year when I went to Colorado and went through all the costumes before, I brought home like a half a dozen vintage clown costumes. And this is a pretty standard clown costume as far as like the colorway and everything. They're handmade. This is probably, I paid $5 for this. Got it off the rack at ARC. It doesn't have the collar and it doesn't have any other pieces. It's just the one piece. Sometimes you find them with a collar or a hat or whatever. And of course that's gonna be worth more. But this is a handmade one and I would say this is probably from the 60s if I had to guess.
Cute and terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger the costume and the weirder the fabric, the more you're going to sell them for. I sold several for over $100. This one is not going to go for that much. This will probably sell for like 50 or 60. It's a pretty basic one, and I think that just the, in general, the primary color polka dots is just very clown-like, and so it's a fabric that's easier to find. So
all right.
But I couldn't leave it behind, right? I sold so many of them last year.
All right. Next up, how many do you have left?
One more, my pièce de résistance, actually.
Oh, so first of all, I've been rethinking this whole picking up jeans because I sold like 3 Levi's 501s in like a 2-day period while Ryan and Allie were here, and 2 of them got returned. It's just so much harder. It's like more likely that somebody's going to buy them and potentially not have them fit. But these I could not resist because they're vintage, made in the USA, Levi's 501s.
Oh, great.
Acid wash.
Acid wash.
Acid wash. They do have staining. One of the problems is that they were hemmed, but whatever.
Market them towards women, though.
Yeah, so they were hemmed, but they have the paper tag and everything, made in the USA. So apparently I can't. My hands don't work. It's just super bright. Anyway, so they've got some staining, so I'm gonna have to do some work on them. But I don't know. I'm sure if I can get the stains out, I would say I could probably sell them for like $75.
I think so. I also think you really should put those in the women's category.
Okay.
Measure them like a women's.
All right.
Because I can envision the likelihood of a young girl wearing those way more than a man right now as far as stylizing it.
Okay.
So, and they do wear men's clothes, obviously, but they'll see it if it's in the women's category.
Right.
Anyway, so this is my favorite find in Colorado, and I didn't even find it. Kristen, a rural squirrel, found this and handed it to me, and it was in a bag that I'm actually going to sell separately because it's an old department store zip-up bag with great graphics. But this is a true 1940s vintage wedding gown. This material is called liquid satin.
It's really pretty.
It's very thick satin. It's beautiful. So you have this pleated lace empire bust up here. It's very thick. It zips down the sides. It has the kind of like a balloon. It's got the long puffy sleeves, right? And then you have the cuff that comes right to a point with all the buttons. And then the back is fairly tame. And then you have the whole gown comes down to like the top of your shoe. So it comes down to the floor. But then it has a beautiful train behind it.
Crazy.
And then the train has 2 spots for you to pick it up. And usually they would hold it on their wrist. But you can also bustle it in the back. This does not have a spot to bustle, but it does have the wrist holders. Anyway, it's tiny. It's probably a small. It's not an extra small, which is good. And it has sun staining and a couple of pills in the fabric. But overall, I'm not going to try to wash this. I'm not going to try to treat it. I'm going to photograph it well on a mannequin. If I can find someone small enough to photograph it on in the next few weeks. It's stunning. It has some yellow spots from aging, but I do know that people that like these types of wedding gowns know how to repair and treat these. As is, I think I can get at least $300 to $400 for it. If it were treated and cleaned, which I'm not going to do because I'm not going to take the time and I'm also not going to ruin it, it would probably go for closer to $700 or $800.
I think you should bring it to the remix and have Sarah Boykin wear it while you take pictures in like the hotel hallway.
No. No. But
so wait, you're saying that Kristen gave you that, and then you did her super dirty with the squirrel?
She wasn't with me when I got the squirrel.
She's
so rude.
I'm just saying,
Kristen, if you like the sweater and you would wear it, I'll send it to you.
She did you so dirty.
She's making me feel so guilty. Jeez. Anyway, when we were sourcing, both Kristen and Liz were giving me stuff because they both had too much crap, and Kristen was like, "I'm being very selective. I do not need anything."
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she didn't want to deal with a wedding gown. They're not easy to photograph or describe. So,
okay, I actually have 2 things left. This is not anything that exciting, except it's just the classic made in the USA Calvin Klein jeans. Oh, sorry, hit you in the face.
Right in the face with a filthy freaking t-shirt.
It's got a big spot on it, but that shirt
and
that
it
had
smells.
Finland had even bigger spots than that. So I'm going to be
smells
hopeful.
Nasty.
All right.
It smells like old body odor.
I'm sure it looks pretty dirty. Sorry, hit you in the face.
I'm gonna get the herpetitis now.
But my last piece is definitely something that Vicki's she's gonna glare at me in a second, guys. Just wait. She's looking at it and going like, why would I glare at you over that? Anyway, I told you about how the kid got all of the Ed Hardy t-shirts. So I was so irritated. and jealous of a child. And then I moved down a couple bins and I found something that made me a little bit happier. And then I thought to myself, Vicki's going to be real mad. And then that made me feel real good. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry that your Schadenfreude, your joy in me being upset is, I knew you were going to show that word. I knew it, even though it didn't look wool.
It's not wool. Anyway, this is not vintage, but it is Filson, and it is women's. But it's a women's vest, Filson vest.
It has a tear. Get that fixed.
Get out of here! Why are you raining on my parade? Well, it's not really torn. It's just separated.
A seam tear.
Yeah, and I have a few things that I need. Crystal, I need your help. Help me. I tried to do a couple things last night and I only was able to do one. But anyway, she'll be able to fix that. It's just right on the seam, so it's not actually torn. But I should be able to get at least like $75 for this. Filson, if you ever find it vintage, like vintage Filson, like the old school wool hunting jackets and stuff like that, those are worth so much money. One of my favorite finds ever was a dead stock 40s Filson hunting jacket I found at the bins in Salem, Oregon. And I sold that sucker for like $600.
So even if it's not vintage Filson, if it is wool, it will sell for a lot. I found a Filson vest last year that I got at the bins and I sold it for $175.
Nice.
And it was new. It just had, not new, but like current.
Yeah. This is like from 2017. On the tag, it tells you exactly what it is. But I'll probably list it for 100 and hope to get at least 75. But
yeah, the wool is definitely better, but I'm still a little jealous. That's a cool find.
It's a really nice vest. It's got like nice heft to it, nice weight to it.
We never find Filson out here. I found Filson twice and not here, not in Vegas.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Pretty good.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.